Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Comic Kid 84's Hot Top 10 list. This one's going to be a little different, okay? We've got, of course, the Comic Tom Hot 10 list, Key Collector list, CBSI list. JP Budget Collecting does the 6-month look back on the hot list. I'm going to take you way back, baby. This series of videos is going to be me going back through the hot 10 lists from way back, baby, in the Wizard magazines from the 90s, early 2000s. All these magazines always had a hot top 10 list. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go retro, back in time, see what was hot back at the time of these magazines. I'll check on some and see how they're holding up now, and it'll just be fun to take a look back at what was hot back then. This episode is going to be Wizard number 59. Wizard 59 was published in July 1996. Okay, so we're breaking it back to 1996, and let me set the tone and set the mood for you of what was going on in the world July 1996. To give you a sense of the hot new movie releases, July 1996, we had Kingpin. Here's my list. Kingpin, great Woody Harrelson bowling flick. I thought it was a good comedy. Courage Under Fire, Denzel Washington action. Phenomenon, John Travolta, Harriet the Spy, kids movie. Kazam was July 96 with the great Shaquille O'Neal. Shout out to Biggie Shaq. Crash. Crash was a pretty heavy flick. I was a fan. Don Cheadle. Shout out to John Cheadle. The Frighteners. I don't know what that is. And Multiplicity. Michael Keaton himself. That's what was popping at the box office in July of 96. Let's jump to the Billboard. What was going on the music scene? Billboard top 5 songs from July 96. Number 1, Tupac Shakur, man. California Love. What says How Do You Want It / California Love? I think maybe when they sold singles, maybe they're going by like cassette singles or some shit. Purchases. Anyway, because there was no streams, right? You were buying the cassette, which usually had an A and B side. Anyway, Tupac, California Love is number 1. You're Making Me High, Tony Braxton, number 2. Bone Thugs, See You at the Crossroads. I Miss My Uncle Charles, y'all. Crossroads at number 3. Give Me One Reason to Stay Here, Tracy Chapman at number 4. The Macarena. Dude, remember the dance craze that is the Macarena? It swept the nation. It swept the wedding circuit. I know everyone watching this has probably been to a wedding in their life, and the Macarena came on. Maybe even still to this day. I don't know. But it's a phenomenon. Do I know how to do the Macarena? Absolutely. But I'm not going to go there with you guys. Alright. So that's what was going on in pop culture world, right? Let's get to the Hot 10 list. Wizard Magazine, 1996. And again, to establish how they got this list, because let's not forget, we're in the 90s. We don't have the luxury of checking eBay sales and Go Collect and GPA and all that kind of stuff. So they say, Wizard, by staying in touch with hundreds of realtors, Wizard, by staying in touch with hundreds of retailers throughout the country, we're keeping a close eye on the country's hottest back issues. Okay? So I guess they take some kind of survey or some shit through realtors. I don't know how reliable it is, but that's what Wizard did for their Hot 10 list. Coming in at number 10. Angela, number 1. This is a pretty legit combo. Neil Gaiman writing, Greg Capullo on the art. This list, let me preface this list by saying, out of 1 through 10, 9 of the books on this list are number 1 issues. Number 1 issues sweep the whole list, and also from their little commentary on all the different books, it seems like right now was bad girl books were a big deal. Because they mention it throughout, like, oh, here's another bad girl book. And this list is going to reflect that. So, Angela, number 1. Pretty interesting. They cite how this book had some boost because it had Todd McFarlane's name attached to it. It had a little Spawn rub, right, because of her featuring the Spawn books. And they say that, you know, it's a character to keep an eye on. Did that really pan out? I mean, not really. That's still a short money book. It's a pretty minor key. But there it is. Number 10. Number 9. Lady Death, The Odyssey, number 1. You know, more bad girl book stuff. Some kind of spin-off, I presume. You know, when I look it up, I looked this one up for what it was going for. Not really going for much, and like, this is one of those books that has all kind of different chromium variants, premium variants, this and that, but not really a big deal. Number 8, Lady Death, number 1. That's right. Brian Pulido, who's still doing his thing. He's still making money off of Lady Death. Lady Death's number 1 issue. You know, I didn't look this one up. I probably should have. Lady Death, number 1. I don't know. Is that book still a big deal? I don't think so, because it's not her first appearance. I think her first appearance is in an Evil Ernie book, but maybe you can let me know in the comments. Did Lady Death number 1 hold up? Let her brother know. Maybe I'll come with my facts more correct. I'm not used to doing edited videos, so you gotta cut me a break. Number 7, Hitman number 1, dude. Garth Ennis in the house. They mention in their write-up of everything Garth Ennis at that time. Everything Garth Ennis touches was turning to gold at the time. I feel like Garth Ennis is one of my favorite writers. Big fan of most of his work. And to me, he feels like a definitive 90s writer to me. So cool to see Hitman on the list. That's one of his books that I never got around to reading. It doesn't go for much money, but Hitman number 1 coming in at number 7. Number 6, DC versus Marvel. Amalgam, baby. That's right. I mean, this swept the nation. This got me so juiced up when it came out. DC characters versus Marvel. Wolverine versus Lobo. Batman versus Captain America. Thor and Superman. Like, dude, I couldn't get enough of it. And then to bring it up one more notch, not only did you get to see all the characters cross over and fight, then they amalgamate into mashup characters. Dude, mashups were awesome. It taught me what the word amalgam meant way back then as a youngin'. And great book. Doesn't command big money, but I feel like a pretty culturally significant book. And I could see that this book probably sold a lot of copies and was pretty popular for a while. So that was number 6. Number 5. Number 5, a book published by Topps Comics. When was the last time you see the Topps Comics anywhere? Topps Comics, The X-Files, number 1. Dude, at number 5 is X-Files number 1. X-Files is probably one of the hottest shows in the 90s. So, And I feel like fans of X-Files, there probably was a lot of like fan crossover between X-Files viewers and comic book heads. So I could see that. I could see that book kind of maintaining some steam around that time and being popular. Even though I don't know if I feel like the X-Files would translate well as a comic, but there you have it. All right, we're getting to the top 4, ladies and gentlemen. Number 4, another #1 issue. Another female badass. She, #1, Billy Tucci himself. Billy Tucci, great artist. I was always a fan of She. I felt like she was a little different than like usual bad girl type characters. She was a pretty dope samurai type of gal. So She #1. I'm pretty sure this is Dollar Bin stuff. Cause I'm pretty sure I saw a She #1 the other day. Maybe not Dollar Bin, but I didn't look that one up. But I don't think it's gonna go for more than $10. So She #1. She #1 coming in at number 4. Number 3, another #1, another babe. Dawn. Dawn #1. I feel like Dawn had a quick high and fizzle out. You know what I'm saying? Like all these other characters that, the female characters that we went through, She, I feel like had a pretty good run. She's not really relevant now, but had a pretty enduring run. Lady Death, definitely still relevant. Angela, still relevant. Dawn, I feel like never really picked up too much steam. Linsner, of course, fantastic artist. I always could appreciate like a Dawn drawing or Dawn artwork, but I don't think there was too much of a quality read to be had there. But you know, they cite low print runs, creators with a lot of buzz. I guess Linsner was buzzing at that time, but Dawn #1 at the number 3. Let's get to the top 2 books. Top 2 books, July 1996. Number 2, the only book on this list that is not a #1 issue. Wolverine #100. Wolverine 100 was killing it, apparently. I'm not familiar with that issue. Adam Kubert and Dan Green on the art, Larry Hama on the writing duties, and they cite this book as like a return to form for Wolverine, making him like a savage killer again. Apparently, in the issues leading up to this, whoever was on that writing team said that they declawed, defanged Wolverine, if you will, and this was like a return to form. Wolverine 100 doesn't really command much money-wise. It also has like a hologram cover, so you can find that Wolverine 100 hologram out there if you keep your eyes peeled. So that came in at number 2. Number 1, the #1 book of July 1996. Preacher, baby. Preacher #1. Really cool top book, if you ask me. Here's the only book on this list that I really feel like withstood of being like a solid key. 9.8s sell for like $200, $250 in that range. One of the best runs in comics, especially in the 90s. This run had a big deal of me getting like back into comics as an adult. So Garth Ennis, like I alluded to earlier when we talked about Hitman, Garth Ennis was killing the game. Preacher pretty much kept the momentum going for Vertigo after Sandman ended. So it's kind of like the mantle got passed over to the Preacher book for them to take the ball and run with it. Kept Vertigo going strong. Of course, as you know, I got the TV show adaptation, which, you know, was pretty cool, but like growing up, I had always said, once I read Preacher, I would always say to like buddies and stuff, like when comic book movies or shows would come up, I'd say, yeah, those are all good, but you know what would be a killer TV show? Is Preacher. I was like, it needs to be like dark, HBO tone, but we need a Preacher TV show on HBO. I used to say that all the time. And then I got the show on AMC, and it wasn't terrible. Cassidy was great. Cassidy the Vampire was great. But it wasn't, like, I didn't continue watching it. I watched the first season and a little bit of season 2, and it didn't bite me. I don't know if that's because of the show itself, or maybe it just doesn't translate well. Sometimes comics just don't translate well. Anyway, there you have it. The #1 book from 1996, according to Wizard Magazine, was Preacher #1. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's my first attempt at putting this out. Let me know if you guys enjoy this, if you want to see me continue to pull old. I don't want to go like in order. Like I was considering starting at Wizard 1 and working my way up, but I think I'm just gonna jump randomly to different magazines, different years, and just keep it real. It'll keep you on your toes, so you don't know which year and month I'm gonna bust out on you. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe I could do a little more preparation and really have. There was some books that I didn't get a chance to look up, so I might do a little more research on future issues. I may consider doing this as a live show and just pull up the images like on a live stream, and we can have a little chat interaction. I was considering doing that. I'm filming this on a Wednesday, and the whole community's going live tonight. So I'm like, let me just make an edited video and leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a while since I got my editing juices flowing. So here it is. Hope you enjoyed this top 10 hot list, retro style, July 1996. Thanks for watching. Hit that like. Appreciate it. Peace.